Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 35-year-old Colorado resident Tyler Etheridge was a youth pastor when he took part in the Capitol attack. He traveled to D.C. with 3 other people on January 6th. And Ethridge and the others were among the first group that approached the barricades at Peace Circle, which so ironic that that's what it's called. Just always makes me cringe. And Ethridge took part in the surge against the very outnumbered officers at that location. Because of Ethridge and the others in the mob, Officer Caroline Edwards, you may have heard me say, suffered a very serious traumatic head injury. And still to this day, she experiences migraine headaches on a monthly basis. And after pushing past the police at that location, Etheridge was seen on video. He was removing fencing, which was clearly marked. It had the area closed signs on it. Etheridge then headed closer to the Capitol. He was shot in the knee at one point with a rubber bullet, and he was in an area that the police sprayed with chemicals to try to deter the crowd, but didn't stop him. He continued on, and he climbed the media tower at one point that had been erected for Joe Biden's inauguration, and he was encouraging the mob to keep fighting. A while later, he was seen on surveillance video. He illegally entered the Capitol, and he headed into the rotunda. While he was inside, Etheridge was posting videos on social media, and in one of them he said, quote, "We stormed the Capitol. This is amazing. I hope this doesn't get me thrown in jail. I'm officially a pastor. This is what pastors need to do. Christians, we need to infiltrate every area of society like this. Every area of society, peacefully. But if it takes a little bit of aggression to barge through the walls that Satan separates us from the culture, it's time for the body of Christ to infiltrate the culture." Yeah. In another part of the video, Etheridge said, quote, "I don't want to say what we're doing is right, but if the election is being stolen, what is it going to take? I'm probably going to lose my job as a pastor after this. I think we're to a point where talk is cheap. If this makes me lose my reputation, I don't care." Yeah, they never care when they think that they're going to get away with it, right? So Etheridge left the rotunda, and he was seen among a large group that headed to the Senate chamber. So there were officers who were blocking their path, and they were ordering them to leave. And Etheridge and the others just refused. And so they physically resisted when these officers were trying to force them back. Etheridge was actually seen on video bracing his body and trying to stand his ground against the officers pushing on him. Ultimately, he did leave that area. He headed back to the Capitol Rotunda. And after approximately 30 minutes inside, he exited the building. And then he sometime later, left the Capitol grounds. So the following day, Etheridge starts incriminating himself on Facebook. He wrote, quote, "We weren't inspired by anyone to do what we did. We've been awakened over the past 4 years to a communist insurgents." Remind me again of who the president was during that communist insurgent, quote unquote. These people are so funny. So I guarantee they could not define communism if you paid them to. And so he goes on, he posted, quote, "I was there, literally the tip of the spear. Yes, I encouraged us to press forward to the base of the Capitol. I don't regret that decision one bit." So when other users left derogatory comments on his post, he responded with, quote, "It's hard for anyone who wasn't personally there to understand the moment. It truly felt like a peaceful revolution. I stand by my stance. and believe we should have stormed the Capitol to peaceably protest. Read it how you want. No one was shooting at the police. Some threw water bottles at them after they shot us with rubber bullets, threw some smoke grenades, and pepper sprayed us. Yeah, okay, yeah. That was after you all violently forced your way onto restricted grounds, past barricades, and injured officers. They somehow seem to forget that part, right? Just, oh, that didn't happen. Cops just started shooting at them randomly. Cops just started shooting rubber bullets and pepper spray at them for no reason. I was just standing there minding my own business in someone else's house. God. Anyway, when someone asked Etheridge how he got into the Capitol, he said, quote, "A door behind the inauguration stage was wide open. We walked right in." Yeah, while that's technically true, it was only wide open because one of Trump's terrorists busted it open. And the alarms were going off when this guy entered. So there's such, I mean, even the quote unquote pastors, these so-called pastors, they're such liars. Oh my God. So anyway, in another comment, Etheridge wrote, quote, "I don't think they anticipated the storming of the Capitol. There was a great push back when people tried getting to Nancy Pelosi's office, but lenience in other places in the Capitol. The greatest resistance was right at the base of where we hold the inauguration. I think inside the Capitol was fishy, especially after seeing other footage. I didn't stay long in there. It felt iffy. So I bailed shortly after entering." Yeah, it was so fishy that the police were telling you to leave and tried to physically remove you from the building, and you fought them. It's unreal. And, you know, after not being arrested for 8 months, it seems like he got a little full of himself because he posted on Twitter in September of 2021, and he said, quote, "They want the peaceful protesters of hashtag January 6 to be afraid and ashamed of what they did that day, or what we did that day. They want us to fear our sentencing for going into the Capitol. They want us to feel like what we did that day made things worse and served no purpose." And then he posted, quote, "A spirit I thought was long gone. It has shown me that the fight for freedom and liberty is still afoot. So my message to all who were involved in that day is this: don't be ashamed. Don't fear. We will be vindicated. The truth will come out." And quote, "Don't be afraid of what they sentence you with. I'm not. I'm ready for whatever I'll be charged with. America is still primed and ready." So he continued to make public statements, kept incriminating himself, kept showing no remorse, including in media interviews, and one in which he said, quote, "I did what I did. I don't regret anything." And of course, inevitably, he went full conspiracy theorist. He started saying the whole thing was a government setup, which, as I've said before, so you fell for it? You're that stupid that you fell for it? Wow. So Etheridge was arrested on July 8th of 2022, and he was charged with civil disorder, obstructing an official proceeding, entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol building. And for someone who was so proud of his actions on January 6th, Etheridge wasn't exactly forthright with the investigators after his arrest. He claimed in a post-arrest interview that he never engaged with the police. He said he had nothing to do with the barricades being breached. Yeah, like I said, such a man of God. this person is, and so many of the others. So Ethridge refused a plea deal. He opted for a bench trial, and in September of 2023, the judge convicted him on all counts. Now, unfortunately, as you all know, the obstruction conviction had to be thrown out because of the psycho MAGA majority on the Supreme Court. But Etheridge faced up to 5 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines based on just the civil disorder conviction alone. So that is a felony. And this time, the prosecutor requested a stiff sentence of 5 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. Also, Etheridge was correct about his job. The church did fire him. It turns out, breaking the law and then lying to federal investigators about your actions, not really the biblical way. It's not what the Bible's all about and what they want to teach the youth. The Utes. So U.S. District Judge Randolph Contreras presided over Etheridge's case, and he sentenced Etheridge to only 7 months in prison, 2 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. No. When you waste the court's time, you waste taxpayer money on a trial, and you're convicted on all counts, including a felony, no, you should not get off so easy. The good news is, as always, Etheridge won't be voting this year for Trump. And like I said, this is a felony. So he now has a felony on his record. So good luck with that. Good luck with getting a job at another church. Although they seem to have kind of low standards at a lot of churches. So maybe. Anyway, I will let you know if I hear any more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.